All right, so that is what some of the leaders have had to say ahead of the swearing-in ceremony of Narendra Modi heading a coalition government this time around. But there is now massive speculation as to who amongst the Bharatiya Janata Party and also the NDA alliance partners will get ministerial berths. This is going to be a big question. And this, of course, will be answered during the oath-taking ceremony where, along with the Prime Minister designate, the cabinet ministers who have been chosen will also be taking their oaths. Now, the Indian Prime Minister designate hosted a tea party for potential ministerial faces at his official residence early in the day today. Now, this, of course, was ahead of the oath-taking ceremony that is slated to begin in roughly an hour's time from now. 48 leaders from the Bharatiya Janata Party and also the NDA alliance were present in the meeting, and the NDA leaders, including the likes of Giriraj Singh, Ramdas Athawale, have left the Prime Minister designate Narendra Modi's residence. It is expected that they could be given berths in the Union Cabinet during the swearing-in ceremony in another 60-odd minutes from now. The BJP leaders such as Amit Shah, JP Nadda, Rajnath Singh, Kiran Rijiju, Jyoti Raditya Scindia, Manohar Lal Khattar, Shivraj Singh Chauhan and other party leaders were also in attendance. The Prime Minister spoke of a 100-day action plan for the government, and this is going to be pretty crucial. Remember, every government, when it begins, comes up with a power-packed 100-day plan. It will be very interesting to see as to what Narendra Modi's 100-day plan will be in this coalition government. Now, it's being said that this will, of course, be implemented immediately. This includes spending schemes of the respective departments. Narendra Modi has stressed that the faith of the people in the NDA, this is interesting, he has said that the faith of the people in the NDA has been strengthened. Now, sources say that the former ministers such as Smriti Irani and Anurag Thakur are likely to be dropped from the cabinet. This is what is being picked up. These are two important ministers of the earlier Narendra Modi administrations who are likely to be dropped this time round. Smriti Irani, remember, lost from her high-profile seat of Amethi. Now, leaders from alliance partners such as the Telugu Desam Party, the JDU, that is Janata Dal United, NCP, the Shiv Sena and others are also expected to be sworn in as cabinet ministers this evening. Narendra Modi will hand over a full list to President Draupadi Murmu shortly before the swearing-in ceremony begins in some time from now. All right, now to give us more perspective in terms of what, of course, is expected to happen this evening, we're being joined in by our correspondent Dharamjot Kaur, who's, of course, joining us from our newsroom. And we also have Mr. Sandeep Ghosh, who's an author and a political commentator, and he's joining us live from Kochi. Dharamjot, let me in fact start with you. This, of course, is a very high-profile ceremony. Narendra Modi is going to be sworn in for the third time as the Prime Minister. But this time round, he's heading a coalition government. What is to be expected?
Well, Saleh, as you rightly pointed out, first coalition government for Narendra Modi to head it in, in his what will likely to be the third term that he is now taking up as Prime Minister. The biggest impact that this will have, obviously, we'll be seeing in a few minutes from now, in terms of who has made the cut, and earned a ministerial berth in the cabinet. Now, we're expecting about 30 odd ministers to take oath. Usually, the overall cabinet has about 78 to 81 ministers in the government, but 30 to be taking oaths today. That's what the murmur is. We're still waiting an official confirmation on that. And all eyes will be on seeing which of the alliance leaders, which of the senior leaders from the Bharatiya Janata Party itself, are they going to be old faces, are they going to be new faces? All of these questions are what everybody is waiting an answer to. Right. Because as far as the speculation is concerned, Saleh, we've been hearing, that the Tamil Nadu party chief of the BJP, Annamalai, will be getting a berth. And this is despite the fact that the Bharatiya Janata Party failed to open its account in Tamil Nadu during the just concluded Lok Sabha elections. On the other hand, we're hearing murmurs of, BJP heavyweights like Smriti Irani and Anurag Thakur being dropped from the list of, who's made it as far as the cabinet ministries are concerned. Right. So a lot of speculation and a lot of big questions in terms of who's made it, who's not made it. A lot of questions being asked by alliance partners also in terms of, what ministries will they get? Will they be ministers of state for small independent ministries? Will there be certain bigger ones coming in the picture for them? Many questions that we're all waiting answers for, Saleh.
Absolutely indeed, Dharamjot Kaur. Do continue to stay on with us. Let me in fact bring in Mr. Ghosh, who's joining us on this broadcast. Mr. Ghosh, this is a very crucial ceremony. At this moment, it is all speculation as to who's making the cut and who's not. But what is clear is that Narendra Modi is heading a coalition government for the first time in his political career. Not when he was the chief minister in Gujarat, not in the first 2 terms as the prime minister, has headed a coalition government. So how different do you think Narendra Modi would be when he's heading a coalition government where his government depends on the support of his allies?
The last point which you said is relevant. Technically, even the first 2 terms were coalition because Narendra Modi was heading an NDA government in which they had coalition partners, with the difference being BJP had themselves absolute majority, so they were not dependent on the partners. Now, this time also it's an NDA government, but since BJP does not have absolute majority, their dependence on the partners, especially the 2 major partners, would be higher. But, politics is the art of the possible. And all politicians, I think, rise up to a situation and the circumstances which call for them. And Mr. Modi himself has shown tremendous ability to reinvent himself as per the needs of the time. So time will tell, but at the moment, I don't see any immediate danger of destabilizing this government. I think people already tried to approach the coalition partners to see if they would switch sides right away. But they were rebuffed. And people have their own reasons and interests to be in this. And, people like also to be on the winning side. So I don't see if there's anything happening right now. We have to wait. The first test, I think, will be the state elections, major state elections happening later in the year, which is Maharashtra especially, Haryana, and I think Jharkhand will also come up. At that point in time, how the results turn out might decide the next turn of events.
It's very interesting that you mentioned that he's, of course, heading an NDA government. But the difference this time round is that his NDA government depends on the support of the allies. The opposition is saying, Mr. Ghosh, that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will have to run a government with consensus. He'll have to take everyone along to get his agenda passed. Even a budget, for instance, will have to be passed along with his coalition partners. So do you think his reform agenda is likely to be hampered this time round?
Not necessarily. Who are the major partners? One is Mr. Chandrababu Naidu. He himself has been one of the most progressive chief ministers of India. At his time, when he was earlier the chief minister of the United Andhra Pradesh, that's when Hyderabad and Andhra made rapid strides on various fronts. And he was, today we are talking about digital revolution in India. He was in a way the pioneer of IT, using IT in governance at that point in time. He is going to head the new Andhra Pradesh in a bifurcated form, and he already had a lot of plans, including setting up the new capital of Andhra Pradesh in Amravati. It's a city which he is making. So he has big plans, and he would need support of the center. So there is always an element of, give or take, quid pro quo, those would happen. Mr. Nitish Kumar would like to also leave his mark on the state of Bihar, having been there for so long. And to do that, he would like total support from the center, and he would is likely to get far more support in this sort of a situation, rather than if, let's say, assuming counterfactually, he was part of the other coalition of indie parties where he would not have been one of the most, the larger, allies over there, because there are other parties who have bigger numbers than what JDU themselves command.
Now, a lot is being spoken about what the Narendra Modi-led NDA alliance would do, of course, in the first 100 days of the government. And there's also talk of a common minimum program being put in place. What do you expect would be the agenda, the core agenda of this Narendra Modi-led NDA government in the first 100 days?
He will have to, it has to be a combination of the longer term as well as short term, because there are certain issues which have cropped up out of the election results. So whereas before the election, before the results, when he was really looking at coming back with a thumping majority, At that point in time, he could have taken a much more longer view. But right now, I think he will also have to address some immediate issues, especially regarding, on the economic front, in terms of generating jobs, etc., which has to, in the short term, and so that to see the benefits of development percolate to the lower sections, and that is so. Therefore, that would require immediate attention. And certain other things, like which would be on the table for review, is like the Agniveer scheme, on which the alliance have a view. So those things may also come up for discussion.
Absolutely, indeed. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Ghosh, for joining us and getting us all those insights, because this remains to be a very crucial moment at this moment, as Narendra Modi is to be sworn in for the third straight time. But this time around, remember, he's heading a coalition government. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.